Frontier Conquest. Frontier, Conquest, and Accommodation, a Social History of Cyrodiil. University of Gilliam Press, 3rd Era, year 344. Historians often portray the human settlement of Tamriel as a straightforward process of military expansion of the Nords of Skyrim. In fact, human settlers occupied nearly every corner of Tamriel before Skyrim was even founded. These so-called Nedic peoples include the Proto-Cyrodiilians, the ancestors of Bretons, the Aboriginals of Hammerfell, and perhaps now human population of Morrowind. Strictly speaking, the Nords are simply another of these Nedic peoples, and the only one that failed to find a method of peaceful accommodation with the elves who already accompanied Tamriel. Amor was certainly not the first human settler in Tamriel. In fact, fleeing civil war and Atamora, as the Song of Return states, Ysgramor was also following a long tradition of migration from Atamora. Tamriel has served as a safety valve for Atamora for centuries before Ysgramor's arrival. Malcontents, dissidents, rebels, landless younger sons all made difficult crossing from Atamora to the new world of Tamriel. New archaeological excavations date the earliest human settlements in Hammerfell, High Rock, and Cyrodiil at ME 800 to 1000. Assuming centuries earlier than Ysgramor's, even assuming that the 12 Nord kings prior to Harald were actually historical figures. The Nedic people were a minority in a land of elves and had no choice but to live peacefully in the Elder race. In High Rock, Hammerfell, Cyrodiil, and possibly Morrowind, they did just that, and the Nedic people flourished and expanded over the last centuries of the Merithic. Only Skyrim did this accommodation breakdown, an event recorded in the Song of Return, perhaps being close to reinforcements from Atamora. The Proto-Nords did not feel it necessary to submit to the authority of the Skyrim elves. Indeed, the early Nord chronicles note that under King Harald, the first historical Nord ruler, 1st Era, 113 to 221, the Atamora mercenaries returned to their homeland. Following the consolidation of Skyrim as a centralized kingdom, whatever the case, the pattern was set. In Skyrim, expansion proceeded militarily, with human settlement following the frontier of conquest, and the line between human territory and the elven territory was relatively clear. But beyond this zone of conflict, the other Nedic peoples continued to merge with their elven neighbors. When the Nord armies of the First Empire finally entered High Rock and Cyrodiil, they found Bretons and Proto-Cyrodiils already living there among the elves. Indeed, the Nords found it difficult to distinguish between elf and Breton. The two races had already intermingled to such a degree that the arrival of the Nord armies upset the balance of power between the Nedic peoples and the elves. Although the Nords' expansion into High Rock and Cyrodiil was relatively brief, less than 2 centuries, the result was decisive. From then on, power in those regions shifted from the elves to the humans.